let's talk Elf Creek doing a new version of Sandas Workshop. Now, Sandas Workshop here is a game that came out a few years ago, back in 2017, from Rio Grande Games. Very different cover. You might not recognize this, because this one has artwork from the illustrious Andrew Bosley.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Woo! Everdell artist, many other games at this point, though Everdell is probably the best known one right now, but I mean, it's stunning, stunning artwork. And so this is, like I said, from Elf Creek, who's put out Honeybuzz, Atlantis Rising, Merchants of the Dark Road. Well, now they're coming out with this one. It's a game from Keith Ferguson. It has art as well from Jackie Davis, actually, and Andrew Bosley. And then,
the two of them work well together.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so it's, it's late December. Santa's getting ready for his trip around the world to bring presents to all the good boys and girls. However, there are lots of things still to be done before he can leave. So there's toys to be assembled, reindeer to be tended to in the stables, and the North Pole's own Christmas tree to decorate, which I really don't understand. There's no one there. Literally everyone who's there is leaving for Christmas.
But it's to inspire the workers. Like, it's Christmas.
No, okay, the
Yay!
whipping does that. The whipping, elves.
Inspires them.
Do you think Santa takes all of his elves on the sleigh?
Yeah,
like they
it's a
abandon the
magical
North Pole?
How's this happening?
Okay, look, if this is true, hashtag rob the North Pole, okay?
It's the perfect time to break in there, okay? Anyway, this is a game for, it's basically a worker placement game for the entire family. Ages 8 and up, 10 and up, I'm sorry, they're saying. They're offering a first Christmas edition of the game, which comes with an exclusive promo pack, and you can pre-order that on their website, Elf Creek Games.
And my understanding is from the website, if you pre-order it, you should get it in time for Christmas.
You gots to.
So, but
an elf
retail
will personally deliver it to you.
And while he's gone, we'll rob his house.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I'm really on this.
Yeah. So if you want it before Christmas, because Santa's Workshop, you have to pre-order it.
All right. Next up, City of the Living. So this, and by the way, this is going to be very Mike DeLisio inspired news right here. We're going to be talking about a Knizia game and a bunch of trick-taking stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, get ready. Get ready. And just pretend I'm Mike DeLisio sitting right here.
I'm just going to crawl under the couch.
Oh, I put in some trick-taking games. That's Mike DeLisio.
That's Mike DeLisio.
Make no mistake. Yeah.
Anyway, this City of the Living from Trick or Treat, who are on fire lately, by the way, is a reprint of an Astari game that Knizia co-designed with Sebastian Bleasdale. That was originally known as, which one was it? Is it in here somewhere?
Oh, I forgot.
Prosperity?
There we go, yeah, Prosperity, which I never played. I remember seeing the cover, I never played that one. It was one of the lesser sort of drummed up Astari games. It got very little attention. So here it is being brought up, being brought back out with a new theme, of course, to fit Trick or Treat Studios here. You are trying to rebuild this city, you're keeping zombies at bay, what have you. And you are doing that in order to be elected as the city's best leader. So the publisher said this new version will play identically to the original one. It just has a fresh coat of paint, a few sort of graphic design updates, and trying to make it more intuitive as to the original. It is planned for retail release Q1 2024. So coming out very soon.
It's always so exciting when you hear it's coming out Q1. It's like,
go into Kickstarter.
Yes.
Yeah, go into Kickstarter Q3 2024. It's like, so I'll see it in 2026.
Cool, great. I'll forget by then. Yeah. No, that's really exciting.
It's funny that you said this is probably one of the lesser known Astari games, and I think for a lot of people who came into the hobby more recently, they probably not even played any of the Astari games.
They're all unknown.
Yeah.
I don't know what Astari is.
It's a publisher.
Thank you.
That is no longer around, but they put
Got
out
it.
some really heavy hitters.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe it was like an IP or something.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, no, it's just a publisher from a whiles back, and so this is neat.
Don't shame me. Don't gang it.
Rob his house. He's gone.
All right, moving on. I don't know how to say this word.
Ooh, I'm so excited to try.
Bricolage?
Bricolage?
Broccoli.
Bricolage?
I don't know how to say that word. Bricolage. Heads. I know how to say the second one. Okay, so this is a game.
Watch you be wrong. It's Heyads. Bricolage Heyads.
I know, I might be totally wrong. Maybe I nailed the first word and the second one was mega wrong. So this is something that's going to debut at the Tokyo Game Market, which is going to happen, well, pretty soon, December 9th and 10th. And it still blows my mind that Tokyo Game Market is like a day and a half. It's like a few hours.
Yeah.
The whole
wow.
thing. Yeah. It's big news, but if you want to go, especially anybody who goes from here, you are flying all that time for like a full day. I think it's like, I don't know, maybe 6 hours on one day, maybe like 4 on the other one, and you're done.
Oh,
That's it.
wow.
Something nuts like that, yeah.
Darn, you'll just have to enjoy the rest of Tokyo, I guess.
Yeah. And there's nothing to do there, I heard. So this is, it's set in a crowded district where brothers are turning trash into gigantic monsters to win fans of street art in a competition that takes place in a crowded entertainment district. By promoting your work and expanding your influence in the city, fans will come from further afield. So you make art quickly and you promote it even more quickly so that your opponents don't steal your fans. It seems to have a speed element. You're making big signs and trying to attract people over. It seems strange. From publisher Ramble Odd Potato, so that checks out, that it would be strange. Yeah, I don't know about this one. It's not really singing to me. I do like the cover. I think it's a strange looking little contraption of a game, but I don't know. And also that theme makes it sound like you look at that picture and you're like, there's a lot going on in that picture.
Yeah.
That looks like a bigger game than that description would lead me to believe. So maybe it's rocking.
Even at that, even from the description, I'm still like, wait, what's going on
I know.
again? Like, it's yeah, not a lot of clarity coming from this one.
Yeah, once I sit down, I bet
Yeah.
it'll click.
Yeah.
Might not
Feel
be
like-
my favorite, favorite
Right.
game or anything, but I'm intrigued at least by
Cool
that.
theme, though. It's a weird theme.
Yeah.
Making street art and trying to attract fans.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. Next up, we're taking a look at Sumo, trick-taking card game. Sumo here is a 2-player only trick-taking card game that attempts to mimic sumo action through card play. You are going to use card play to push your opponent from the game is the idea. You place the sumo wrestler cards in the center of the sumo ring. I guess the ring has 3 positions, left, right, and center. One player sits on the left of the ring, the other on the right. You have a hand of 8 cards, and they have, it's 20 cards, 1 through 5 in 4 suits. Okay. Each player plays and reveals a card with the high card playing first, and if they're tied, you repeat that until one player wins. It sounds a little bit like war to me, actually.
Yes.
The first player plays a card and the other player follows suit. I think the war part is to decide who actually plays first. Is how that checks out to me, how that sounds. If the second player is off suit, then the first player wins. If not, whoever played the higher card wins. In either case, the winner pushes the other sumo away from them and then leads the next trick.
It's all checking out so far. It sounds like obvious so far.
However, a player can win earlier than pushing the other player out fully with one of these 3 sumo moves that I'm not going to try to pronounce, okay? But they are crushing your opponent with your weight. That's my go-to move, baby. Which in game terms means playing a 4 in the same color after a lead 1.
Oh.
Okay? Using the opponent's momentum to knock him down. Which in game terms means playing a 1 in the same color after somebody leads a 5.
Checks out.
Okay?
Right.
And then
The old potato
lastly,
man theory.
throwing your opponent out of the ring, which happens should you play an off-color 2 when the sumo wrestler's card is on the edge of the ring near you.
There's got to be a play rate for that. I
really hope so, but I
Right.
don't know. This sounds like a whole strangeness to me.
Here's the rules, and all of your exceptions or maybes.
Yeah.
It's like everything I hate about trick taking.
I kind of agree on this
Like,
one with
oof.
you. I'm not loving the description doesn't sound inspiring to me, but you know what? There's going to be a lot of people pulling this out of like their trench coats and being like, have you played Sumo yet? I have one of 12 copies.
What does it say what company this is coming from?
This is coming from... No, it doesn't. It says the designer, Kota Kono.
That's weird
Okay.
because this looks like that that company that made like Bag of Butts. It looks like that's type of artwork,
kinda
the
does.
Rollosaurs.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it won't be that company.
No, I mean this has
No.
at least 2 butts, but it's not the same company.
But not
I
a
think.
bag.
No, certainly not a bag. All right, next up, we're looking at an amazing looking cover here. This is Fortify from Zenwood Studios, which is a company, a publisher based in India. And this one, you're taking control of an army consisting of tanks, infantry, battleships. But before you get too excited, on a 4x4 grid
Yeah, I'm in.
made up of land, shore, and sea terrains. And for advanced players, there are 2 additional units, the chopper and the artillery. So each type of unit has its own strategy and way to deploy them. For example, the tanks are going to be lightning fast, infantry enlists at double speed, the battleships fortify the shores, so they each kind of do something thematic. And during your turn, you're going to try to strengthen your position by enlisting new units, maneuvering them into positions, give you the best advantage that way, fortify your troops, strengthen them, that sort of thing, and of course, attack the fool sitting across from you. Fortify 4 squares on the grid, and you win the game. So this is coming to retail November 17th, 2023.
Tomorrow.
That's tomorrow!
That's tomorrow.
This looks like, this cover to me is amazing. That's maybe one of the best covers I've seen in a while, actually.
It's really funny because
Yeah.
I read this news story on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, oh, okay, not really my thing. Saw the cover, I was like, oh, what is this game? I'm super interested, and like completely forgot. And then actually reading, I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh, like, and that's just because my personal taste. You know, it doesn't sound like something that's in my wheelhouse. But
Sounds very abstract.
It does sound like
Yeah.
an abstract game. I do love the contrast of that super cool cover
Yeah.
and the company name being Zenwood.
yeah.
It is a fun juxtaposition
Warrior.
there.
That's very true, yeah.
Yeah.
This is one I would definitely give a go, but I'm expecting it to feel pretty abstract.
I agree.
That cover, though, oof, that's good.
There's a lot of people trying to make like small war games very
true.
cool, and there's a nice surge of that lately. So I'll give it a try.
Yeah, there has been a good surge. I think that's right, about either war games or miniatures games, that kind of stuff, trying to bridge over into more board games and being more accessible. And so
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe get prettier.
Yep. Okay, we're back to trick taking, y'all. Let's
Yeah.
talk about Reapers.
Oh, they did make
Now,
it pretty.
Reapers here is a game from 2021 from Daniel Newman, and it's being reissued by a Japanese publisher, Twins Lion Do, as Mountain Photographer, which takes basically dying and makes it about living creatures. It's a real left turn. But it looks a lot cooler. So the gameplay here is going to be the same as the original. Instead of being dealt a hand of cards, person going to draft cards from face-up piles on the table. They score the lowest card from the trick instead of the trick itself being the score, and they are predicting how they'll do in the hand. So it's one of those sort of predicting, bidding, I guess, trick-taking games.
But after an open draft, interesting.
After an open draft. So this was crowdfunded in April 2023. I guess I missed it. I don't remember
Yeah, I
us
don't-
covering it. And it's now being delivered to backers, so I don't know if you can go to the website and find it. Like I said, the company is called Twins Lion Do, D-O, or Do.
I feel like I would have remembered this cover and, like, again, the journey, being excited. Oh, trick taking.
Yeah.
Oh, open drafting memory.
I do believe that Daniel Newman is the same designer as Mori,
That's the same one, yeah.
and Mori is fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Which one's that?
that's the
Oh, that
one of the ones
All-Play
from All
one?
Play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, another trick taking.
Yeah. It's another trick-taking game, but I really like that one. It's probably one of my favorite trick-taking games right now, and so this one, it's certainly something I would check out.
Boy, that cover is really striking. I don't know, the title going down the side. Very,
it's cool.
Very
It is.
magazine-esque.
Yeah.
Like,
It's great graphic design. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are just. It's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to good-looking games these days.
For sure.
All right, let's take a look at another good-looking game. This is Nestlings here. This is
Oh.
coming out from Lucky Duck Games. This will go to retail in April 2024. And in this game, you're going to take control of birds attempting to assert their dominance in 4 different biomes. Savanna, alpine, freshwater, and desert.
Nailed it.
There you go. Players will assign dice to each of those biomes, including a wild grasslands area. And they will earn points for feeding their nestlings their food of choice and fulfilling gathering goals. Birds got stuff to do too, okay? They have goals. You think birds don't have goals?
They have dreams. They have ambitions.
Yeah, okay?
Those birds
You've
that
never
fly
seen a
west to
bird wearing
Hollywood?
a vest and a suit and walking with a little briefcase to work? Neither have I.
Was this on crowd? Sorry, did we cover this on crowd surfing?
I believe
Yes.
we did.
Okay, it did. Okay.
Yeah, so lucky.
So it's
so
going to retail now, is what you're
It's
saying.
going to
Okay,
retail
sorry.
in April
Okay.
2024.
Yeah, from Lucky Duck. It
Got
was
it.
originally from a smaller company. I forget the name of originally.
And they
That seems
picked
to
it up.
happen
Got
quite
it.
a bit, actually, right? Which is an interesting thing. But again, it just kind of feels like, hey, maybe you just go to publishers first. I don't know. That's a strange one to me. Anyway, the game's going to last 4 rounds, and the players with the most victory points are going to win. 1 to 4 players, so solo mode, ages 10 and up, plays in 30 to 60 minutes. It looks really cool. I like the look of that game.
Yeah, I
it looks
remember.
like a small, very digestible, very bright game.
Yeah.
I like it.
Intriguing.
Happy to see Lucky Duck like finding these good little things and
Yeah.
saying, yeah, we'll throw our strength behind it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. For those of you who are old school Genesis fans, let's talk Sonic Roll.
Phil Collins. Oh, that Genesis.
Sega Genesis, okay?
All right. That's a big disappointment.
Now I'm trying to think of any Genesis song and I can't. All right, so this is, first of all, the game is like a dice game, whatever, but that cover and that box, they nailed it. Because it looks like a Sega Genesis package. Obviously fatter, you know what I mean? But like a
Like
Sega
the
Genesis.
game, or what do you mean by the packet? Like the box it came in?
The box it comes in, that box it
Got
comes
it.
in looks like a Genesis. It had the Genesis kind of came in like a VHS almost looking box. And it had down the side that red stripe that said the name and Genesis and whatever. So it really is, that's a cool looking box. All right, so this is going to be a game in which, of course, you know, it's about Sonic the Hedgehog trying to smack around Dr. Eggman. And they are planning on, this is from Kess Entertainment. They are planning on working directly with Sega. They're planning on releasing retail copies in January of this next year. It says that Kaz here has been recently on a spree of board game adaptations, and they've ported like, you know, Street Fighter V, Contra, Mega Man, a bunch of these, brought them to the table. So we've got really just one image of the game so far, which is this, showing components, a lot of familiar elements from, you know, the video game. You are racing through levels like Green Hill. Remember Green Hill Zone? Did you ever play some Sonic?
Oh, I remember the Green Hill Zone. It's
The music is what like pops immediately in my head.
It's also a level in Smash Bros. So you can live in 2 different.
Like that?
Yeah.
Please stop. Collecting ring tokens and power-up cards. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here. We're extrapolating a lot. It looks like the players have their own dice colors. You're going to be rolling those. I'm both like, this is probably just kind of like not for me. But also I look at the image and I go, there's a lot of stuff on there. This is a complex game? You know what I mean? Like, there seems to be a lot happening in that image.
I don't know, yeah.
It doesn't look like, remember Cuphead? Like when we saw Cuphead, it was much simpler than this, simpler looking than this.
Right, you have cards in front of you and dice.
It's like dice, and it's like, yeah, sure, I get it. These dice get me those cards. I look at that image and I go, ooh, I don't know.
Looks like there's a lot of dice placement options.
Yeah,
and some
it's
maybe
just
player power things that you're unlocking, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Even
But-
maybe a tableau to the right there that we can't quite see.
I mean, nobody who's ever played Sonic the
Interesting.
Hedgehog knows what a tableau is. Okay?
Not wrong.
Let's be clear about this. So I do wonder what the audience is for this. Obviously, Sonic fans, but gamers also, or not? I would assume not, but it looks like there's a lot happening. Anyway, keep your eye out for that one. Like I said, January 2024. All right, next up, this is pretty interesting news here. We're back to Trick or Treat Studios, and they're coming out with a new version of the deck building game Nightfall. For those of you that remember Nightfall.
I do not, actually.
Yeah, but this is going to feature now using the IP of the Universal Monsters. So Universal Monsters Unchained here is a republishing of David Gregg's Nightfall. And so it has announced this. It'll debut January 31st, 2024. So in Unchained, players are going to draft their initial decks for an asymmetric start. This is a deck building game, like I said. And then you continue purchasing cards on each of your turns while simultaneously you're sparring with the other players. You're going to be fighting with the other players, you're attacking them, and you're defending them. It has a few keywords, spar, chaining, that sort of thing. A player's turn would be comparing your offense to the player's defense. And this is the same as Nightfall. In Nightfall, you would buy cards, you would play out your cards, and then trigger them sequentially backwards. And you had to, you could only play a card if the previous one gave you the color that the next one would plug into. So it had little moons, like a little purple moon with then like a red and a yellow, little ones. So I could play red or yellow following that. And then they would trigger backwards from there. So it sounds like a similar idea cleaned up with this theme on top of it. Trick or Treat Studios they're doing some really interesting stuff. And I, for one, am glad to see Nightfall come back. Because I thought Nightfall had some great ideas, and I don't know, it had a bunch of expansions, so I kind of got lost in that a little bit, but it also just didn't get the traction, I think. It was mean, because it was incredibly confrontational, and that didn't really go over super well. I don't know why it didn't catch on.
So I looked it up, because I was like, man, it sounds so familiar, but I couldn't, so I looked it up, that's what I was doing on my phone. It's like 2011, there weren't a lot of confrontational mean deck building games in 2011. Maybe it's a better market for it now. Maybe with this particular theme, I don't know. You have the Universal Monsters. Oh yeah, we're gonna fight each other. Ha ha ha. We'll hit each other, and that's maybe a little more easygoing than Nightfall looked very serious. I think so.
It did, but it had a sweet theme with vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. I think it's a cool world for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have a truckload of Nightfall stuff, and I enjoyed it. So this is a nice, exciting reprint to me.
That's cool. I completely missed the boat originally.
All right, and then in our last piece of news for today, let's talk Foundations of Metropolis. This is an upcoming release in 2024 from Arcane Wonder. So they're planning on releasing this, Foundations of Metropolis, which is going to be a scaled-down version of Foundations of Rome from Emerson Matsuuchi, and this is going to have tiles instead of those amazing miniatures, and no expansions available upon launch, just a base game for 2 to 4 players with a lower price point and obviously less shelf space being eaten up.
Have they said what size box it would be?
I don't know if we've seen a box.
Okay, kind of looks like a Ticket to Ride size.
I would assume so as well. The original Foundations of Rome takes up 1 cube in a calyx. Which I think should be an official measurement, by the way. We need to develop a governing arm in board gaming that has its own measurement scale.
Yeah.
And the basis for that is the calyx cube, a cubic calyx.
How many Ticket to Rides in 1 calyx? It's about 3.5, I think.
3.5. 3.52.
Okay.
Is officially the answer.
Yeah, 3.52.
Wait, hold on. 3.54.
3.54763. It's kind of one of those,
it's like
infinite
pi.
long, right?
Pi never ends, baby.
But most measurements, 3.4s will cut it.
Yeah, so you're round.
You don't call me round.
You, comma, round. Okay, so here we go, Foundations of Rome. And again, I will point out this image is not necessarily a final. It's what we've got so far. But keep an eye out for this one if you like Foundations of Rome and thought that one was too big or couldn't get your hands on it or what have you, want something more portable.
I'm completely in on this.
I know we were opposite on this. I remember that discussion in the review, how you were like, if it was tiles, and I was like, I'd have zero interest. I don't, So yes, to me that's kind of what sells is the experience of the game. But you thought it was overproduced. I remember that discussion.
Right. Yeah. Every time we play it, someone's standing up, looking over the buildings. Do I have a marker on that side of your gargantuan thing? I'm so excited about that. I think
that's cool.
I think it'll still look good, though.
And the game is good. You're getting now a Again, a smaller version of a good game. So there you go. Folks, that's going to do it for the news today. Let's move on.